Okay, so I don't usually make videos of this nature, but I felt like something needed to be said here. I mean, there's already some videos talking about this, but I feel like there's also some pretty stupid things being said by people who are trying to like defend this or like dismiss the problems with it. Essentially, to those that don't know, Games Workshop updated their IP guidelines, and basically they've changed how things are and like what can be qualified as infringement. And there's one big category that in particular is pretty scummy. And I'm just going to read it directly here. Fan films and animations. Individuals must not create fan films or animations based on our settings and characters. These are only to be created under license from Games Workshop. Now, before I break this down, I should note that yes, it's within their legal right, but that doesn't make it immune to criticism. That doesn't mean it's not wrong or like a bad decision, and that doesn't mean it's going to be good for Games Workshop either. It's archaic. They didn't have to do it this way, and this is the biggest misconception that I'm going to be tackling. Like, I could go on about how it's hypocritical as fuck to hire fan animators and then basically shut the door. I can mention how it's really shitty and counterintuitive. It basically is a surefire way to kill a community. But no, I'm not gonna go there, because I saw some shitty, stupid things like on the Reddit in particular, where it's like, wait, this is what all fan bases do, like Star Trek and Star Wars. And this is where people are just flat out fucking wrong. Star Wars also has a rising fan film scene, like the Knights of the Old Republic adaptation and a couple other things. Lucasfilm has basically said this now regarding fan films. I think it helped that the guy who made this actually contacted Lucasfilm, but still, I think it's safe to say that it works out. Basically, you can make fan films for Star Wars as long as it follows these 4 rules. I'm gonna just play the video, credit to Unreal Cinema.
1. I can't reuse any footage, images, or music from the main Star Wars films. 2. I cannot publicly crowdfund the project. Luckily, the Patreon is for my channel and not the KOTOR project specifically. 3. I cannot monetize the videos in any way. And finally, 4. It must be clearly represented as a fan film.
Yeah, so anyone who's going to say that Games Workshop had to do it that way can fuck off. There's no reason why Games Workshop couldn't have done something similar. The 4th point, make sure that it's clear that it's a fan film. That's already a thing that people do. Seriously, text-to-speech has that. All these points are completely reasonable. There's even a way you can still technically make money if it's for the Patreon as a whole and not the project. So there's a way how everyone can win. And again, most of these people, they're doing it out of passion, not for profit. Games Workshop didn't have to do it this way. There's ways they could have handled the situation that wouldn't have basically stifled creativity. Apex Legends is apparently another community that also has fan films where they're doing something collaborative. So, there's that too, apparently. I don't know much about Apex Legends. It's transparent what Games Workshop is doing, because they have the Warhammer Plus, which is not going to work. I'll get to Warhammer Plus in a moment, because I feel like that's another component of the situation here. Yeah, basically they have their own platform now, so they're trying to basically ensure that there's no competition of any kind. I'm not surprised that they're genuinely threatened by fan films. Even if it's not malicious, that's still the mindset. Let's go to Warhammer Plus and how it fits in this clusterfuck. I know that it's not, besides the fact that there's only 2 animated series, and one of them I couldn't see a fucking thing with. I know there's going to be other stuff there, like lore videos and other things like that. That's not going to be good enough to save it. Other streaming services have tried this too, with having more stuff on the platform besides, films and shows. A good example would be DC Universe, for DC Comics characters. You could find comics on there, you can find shows, you can find everything on there. Here's the thing, it's dead. You know why? Because it didn't work. DC is a much bigger brand than Warhammer. DC has Batman and Superman, and not even that was good enough. Now, basically, DC Universe is split up into 2 different things. One is in HBO Max, and the other one's whatever the fuck. So, why on earth would Warhammer do any better, guys? And this comes to the crux of it. Games Workshop does not know how to handle its own IPs. They don't. They just simply don't. They seem to have this delusion of grandeur with their brand that is so archaic and wouldn't, like, the way they're approaching their brand wouldn't work for companies and IPs that are way bigger. I'm a huge Warhammer fan, in case you couldn't tell by how passionate I am right now. But I know that the franchise is not that big yet, compared to like Star Wars or like Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings or Marvel. It's not there. It just isn't. It's something that has to be earned. Like these fan films like Astartes were a great start. And you killed it once already by putting it behind a paywall, which, you're not going to get anyone supporting it. You're going to get portion of an already niche fandom. You're not going to get anyone new because they don't know what Warhammer is. And again, it's their legal right, but it doesn't mean that it's not dumb. Games Workshop really just doesn't get it. They do not deserve their IPs. It's abundantly clear that they are a tabletop company that doesn't actually know how to do anything else. The damage is done, because even if they backpedal some of this, it's gonna take years before it gets anywhere again. So, in closing, no, Games Workshop didn't have to do it this way. They chose to. There were other ways they can approach the problem, but they didn't, because they don't know what they're doing.